This is a broken down crate that we pulled apart from my dad's work. We would use this wood to build the base, along with other parts of our treb. The first step to building our treb was building a base. Here, you can see me measuring where we are going to cut the wood to fit the width of our base. Using a chop saw, we then cut the wood we had just measured to be the width of the treb. Next, we then placed the wood in an orientation that would match what we drew on paper. We used a nail gun to hold the wood in place before screwing it in with sturdier screws. Here, you can see us adding screws to the base. We made sure to pre-drill the holes before we put screws in to ensure that the wood beams going across the width would not split as the screw went in. Putting 2 screws in each piece of wood was a bit tedious, but it was a necessary step we had to take in order to achieve our main goal of having a structurally sound treb. Next, you can see Maddie conducting research and making calculations in order to find the length of our payload and counterweight arm. We also determined the length of our throwing arm to be 1.5 meters. While Matt drilled holes into our throwing arm, I focused on creating the sling. We made it out of jean because jean does not stretch when it gets wet. We then measured out the length of the sling and attached it to the pouch by using the grommet press and duct tape. After measuring and putting holes in the steel supports, we then welded plates to the supports and then screwed those into the base of the treb. Once this was complete, we decided to move on to our axle. We used a piece of threaded pipe, which we then drilled holes into, which fit the width of the throwing arm. These holes would then have bobby pins slide into them to prevent the throwing arm from moving while it was being used. Drilling over this green barrel allowed the metal filings to be caught so they were not on the floor. We then moved on to building the weight box. This would hold the weight that we would use to power the treb. After drilling holes in the arms that would support the weight box, we then screwed the weight box together. This weight box had to be wide enough to fit our plates that we use at home in the gym. Since Maddie lifts 25-pound weights, this box needed to be legit, and it was. After cutting a piece of plywood that would fit our base and attaching the sling to our treb with a bent nail, we then assembled the treb, and this was our first real test shot with no water balloon. This is the first time the treb would actually be launched. This was exciting to see everything move and work together. We ran into a problem with the safety release, but this couldn't stop us from launching our treb. We needed to get moving. This was our first real launch with a balloon. After fixing our release and countless tests later, we managed to get the balloon and the sling to release at its maximum height. Here, I am standing at 35 meters, which is the distance for an A+. We are looking to see if the treb is shooting straight, while also trying to see how far it can shoot. Although we didn't hit him, this next clip speaks for itself.